There's less than an hour left until the polls close in South Korea's 21st general election. Special quarantine measures have been taken at the polling stations, of course, because of COVID-19, and the authorities are making sure that even people in quarantine can vote. For more on the process, we have our Kan Hyeong-woo standing by at a polling station in central Seoul. Hyung-woo, fill us in.
Hi, Devin. South Koreans began casting their ballots at 6 a.m. this morning. And yes, the polling stations will close at 6 p.m., which is about an hour from now. And it's for those people who are not in self-quarantine. Because there are still new cases of the coronavirus here and there in the nation, the National Election Commission has taken a number of preventive measures. Now, voters must bring their ID cards, of course, but they also have to wear a protective face mask when they go in. At the entrance, they get their temperatures taken. If they don't have a fever or a cough, they have to disinfect their hands with hand sanitizer and put on disposable plastic gloves, both of which are provided by the polling station they visit. Voters are also required to stand at least 1 meter apart from each other at all times. I asked some of the voters how they feel about voting in these conditions.
It's my first time voting like this, but I feel clean and I think a lot of people like it this way. I hope they continue to do it this way.
I think it's a good idea to carry out the election. It looks like everything is going well as people are wearing masks, gloves, and keeping distance from each other.
Anyone showing respiratory symptoms or a temperature higher than 37.5 degrees Celsius will be escorted to a separate area to vote.
Now, Hyung-woo, what about those in self-quarantine? National Election Commission has made it possible for them to cast their ballots too. So how's that going to work?
That's right, Devin. The election authorities are allowing people in self-quarantine to cast their ballots. There are almost 60,000 eligible voters in self-isolation. According to the Ministry of the Interior and Safety, around 23% of them, which is equal to about 13,000 people, have applied to take part in this year's election. Now, these are the rules. The quarantine will be temporarily lifted from 5:20 to 7 p.m. Only then can those in self-quarantine head straight to polling stations on foot or in their own cars. The voting period is from 6 to 7 p.m. after the other voters are finished. Most of those under quarantine will be accompanied by government officials, but those who aren't will be tracked through a mobile app. And of course, they must wear face masks as well. Given that the self-quarantine voters will begin their voting after 6 p.m., the exit poll will be released at 6:15 p.m. That's all I have at this hour. Back to you, Devin.